It's retro renaissance channel.
What's up, time travelers? Today we're going to count down some things that you definitely missed from the 1980s.
It's all right here. Subscribe to Retro Renaissance channel.
First on my list is Exclamation perfume. The fragrance is said, "I'm here and I smell fabulous." It was like a floral explosion in an exclamation mark shaped bottle. If you close your eyes, you can almost catch a whiff of it.
This gem was launched 1988. I do remember the scent in the hallways. You know, like a trail, like a misty trail following those perms.
Exclamation was launched by the fashion company Coty in 1988. It became particularly well known during the late 1980s and early 90s. The perfume is recognized for its distinctive and bold bottle that's shaped like an exclamation mark, which aligns with the product's name. And I would say a good 50% of the teenage girls in my school definitely wore this perfume. The fragrance claims it's a mix of floral, spicy, and fruity accords, making it a vibrant and attention-grabbing scent. Other notes that are commonly associated with Exclamation include apricot, peach, jasmine, lily of the valley, rose, amber, cedar, and musk. Exclamation is often remembered as an affordable and accessible fragrance, making it a go-to for teens in the 80s and 90s. So if we want a video that you can literally smell, Exclamation would be it. If you just close your eyes, you can smell it.
The combination. Exclamation is the punctuation.
Now on the more masculine side, let's talk about the scent that made every teenage guy feel like he was conquering uncharted lands. Drakkar Noir. The name alone had mystique like you were setting sail on a Viking longship of manliness. Top notes were bergamot, lemon, and rosemary.
It's definitely a very manly man smell, but definitely very rugged. This would be very overwhelming on a teenager for all the guys that were in my comment section saying that they wore this when they were teenagers.
Because nothing says I'm ready for the day like smelling like a Viking adventurer.
All right, Frank, all I'm saying is that the book doesn't mean anything. You got no evidence, you got no case, Frank.
Stinks, that stuff.
This stuff is Drakkar Noir, man.
Now back in the 80s and 90s, cologne was considered a much bigger deal than it is today. And I would say Drakkar was considered a starter cologne. Well, maybe after Brut, which is what some young men got on Christmas morning. But for many teens, Drakkar Noir was the one before they escalate into higher tier colognes such as Eternity or Obsession for men. It's a classic men's fragrance which was first introduced by the French perfume company Guy Laroche in 1982. Drakkar became highly popular and is considered a symbol of the 1980s. And the name Drakkar refers to a Viking longship. And although the base notes were cedarwood, patchouli, and leather, none of that really matters because it was a go-to for many teens in the 80s.
Well, gentlemen, now that you have smelled all of our colognes, what'll it be?
I will take some Drakkar Noir.
How about you?
I am disgusting, so I will take 2 bottles Drakkar Noir.
How about you, Chief?
Let me quickly grow beard and think about it. I will take Drakkar Noir.
Ah, this is it. What is it? It's about time. It's Aqua Net hairspray for women and girls.
Anyone can give a girl flowers.
Now let's talk about hair. And this is where Aqua Net reigns supreme. If you wanted your hair to defy gravity, you didn't just use any hairspray, you had to use Aqua Net. The hold was so strong you could probably use it to anchor a ship. It's the unsung hero behind every 80s big hairdo.
Today, to see today's special? Yes! Wearing the special, which I wear every day. When you come in, then you can see if you like it. Today's special is the fountain.
And the silent partner in crime to every 80s glam rock band. It's a well-known brand of hairsprays that's been a staple in the beauty industry for decades. It gained popularity in the 1960s and became particularly iconic in the 1980s. Because big hairstyles and hairdos were in vogue, Aqua Net is renowned for its strong hold and control, making it effective for maintaining elaborate hairstyles. It was often used to create big, teased, and gravity-defying hairdos that were popular. And for those seeking a touch of nostalgia or specific styling requirements, Aqua Net continues to be a go-to choice for achieving a strong and long-lasting hold. Although it's often associated with the glamour and fashion trends of the 1980s, it was used by just about everybody in the 1980s.
No hairspray holds better than Aqua Net. You can pay 2 or 3 times the price of Aqua Net, but you can't buy a better holding hairspray. That's the simple truth that has made Aqua Net the world's largest selling hairspray.
Pan Burglass, Easy Look number 9. Apply step flexible hold, then tease.
Now speaking of hair, let's not forget the weapon of choice for every 80s teen, hair gel. You got LA Looks, Dep, Dippity Doo, and they weren't just brands, they were the architects of our sculpted masterpieces. Hair gel wasn't just a product, it was a cultural phenomenon, turning ordinary teens into punk rock rebels and new wave warriors. As many of us needed our hair to stand up. And for many teens in the 80s, gel was the only way to go. It played a significant role in shaping the iconic hairstyles of the era. The 1980s were known for bold and distinctive hairdos, often characterized by volume, texture, and unique shapes.
Time to get rid of the Mohawk blues with Dep Ultimate Styling Gel. When it's time to style, it's time to use Dep.
And hair gel was a crucial styling product during this time, helping individuals achieve the desired look for the decade. Their goal was to provide strong hold and control. They were essential for creating intricate styles that required structure and staying power. The gels were known for their ability to keep the hair in place for extended periods of time. Hair gel was instrumental in creating the spiked look and other sculpted hairstyles. Various hair gel brands gained popularity during this period, so you would have LA Looks, Dep, Dippity Doo, and Rave for examples. These brands offered different formulations and levels of hold to cater to various styling preferences. Hair gel in the 1980s was much more than a styling product. It was a trend. The popularity of certain hairstyles from the 80s were often achieved with the help of hair gel. It continues to be remembered and sold, however not as popular as it was back in the 1980s and 90s.
Dippity Doo. Dippity Doo. It holds and holds and holds. Dippity Doo.
Here it comes, freshen up, a great refreshing taste sensation. Here it comes, freshen up, make your breath a great temptation. Here it comes, freshen up, the gum that goes wild. What? The gum that goes squirt.
Now let's take a little look at some snacks. We're gonna take a detour to the world of gum. Freshen Up gum, the original explosion in your mouth.
That's what she said.
Now, Freshen Up gum was produced by the Warner Lambert Company and was indeed a popular chewing gum that started in 1975. It was known for its unique and innovative liquid-filled center. The gum featured a soft outer shell with liquid-flavored center that burst upon chewing, providing a refreshing burst of flavor. The liquid center is what made Freshen Up gum stand out, and they would have other popular varieties such as Dr. Pepper. And the gum was available in various other flavors, and its interactive and flavorful nature contributed to its popularity during its time on the market. Over the years, product lineups and availability did change, and in some cases, certain products were discontinued. Now, if you're interested in nostalgic collectible items like Freshen Up gum, you might find it in vintage candy shops, online auctions, or through collectors who specialize in retro products. And sure, a lot of these items can be challenging to find, but they often hold a special place in the memories of myself and others who enjoy them during their heyday. However, one thing can be sure, every mom had a pack of Freshen Up or some certs with Redson in their purse.
Didn't you know Freshen Up loads delicious gum with refreshing liquid flavor boosters?
Now I do.
Freshen Up
It's loaded
with flavor.
Now we all know Jolly Ranchers, and yes, some version of this is still sold today, but who could not forget the Jolly Rancher Stix? Their original lineup of grape, apple, and fire, because nothing says jolly like candy that can withstand a Colorado winter. When Bill Hampson first founded the Jolly Rancher Company, he aimed to make the name sound like an appealing and friendly Western company. And this was fitting as he originally only sold his goods in the Denver, Colorado area. One of the big benefits of much of the candy back in the 1980s is you could get $1, and these things were only 10 cents, so you could load up on your favorite treats. And delicious candy wasn't the only thing you could buy from Mr. Hampson back in the day. The Jolly Rancher Company in fact sold ice cream and chocolate as well, but clearly nothing could compete with the Jolly Rancher candy and the Jolly Rancher Stix. So during the winter, when ice cream wasn't selling so well, that's when Jolly Rancher decided to focus on the hard candy, because that's something that people would want all year round. Although it started with just grape, apple, and the fire sticks, later on you would have cherry, lemon, and pineapple. And much later, blue raspberry was thrown into the mix as well.
But the actual taste of a Jolly Rancher candy.
Hello? Hey. Hello? 4 by 12 o'clock. Blow your
Now we're going to cover a couple things that were technology-oriented back in the 1980s. Do you remember the thrill of receiving a phone call? Not just looking at your phone, seeing somebody's calling you and ignoring it, wondering why they didn't text. The thrill of receiving a phone call in the 1980s. There was no caller ID, no call waiting, just pure suspense.
Hello?
Hey Todd, it's your girl Stacy on my new Swatch phone.
Stacy, baby, what's shaking?
I've got some news. I'm pregnant!
And it was a family shared experience. When the phone rang, everyone would say, "I'll get it," and they would run to the phone. So today, yeah, we have smartphones, but there's nothing like the anticipation of an old-fashioned landline ring. Receiving a phone call in the 1980s was exciting. During the 1980s, landline telephones were the primary means of communication, and the anticipation of hearing that phone ring could evoke a sense of excitement and curiosity. And there were a few reasons for this: limited communication options. In the 1980s, landline phones were the primary means of communication. So there were no smartphones, instant messaging apps, so a phone call was the most direct way to connect with your friends and family. And another benefit was, like I said, there was no caller ID. So now, yeah, you can see who's calling, but before then you just had to answer the phone. It added an element of mystery and surprise to each call, as you wouldn't know who was on the other end until you picked up. And we got a lot less junk calls back then. And part of the joy was that many households had a single landline that served the entire family. This meant that phone calls were a communal experience and was common for family members to share the excitement of receiving a call.
We're going to call Arnie. He's got a little story to tell us tonight, and it'll take about 3 minutes. You got the Stevie Nicks deal up there, Hal? Okay, well, I've already dialed now. I've completed the dialing, Hal. Hal, can we get you some white jelly fungus? We got plenty out here.
Or, yelling at your brother or sister to get off the line because you're on the phone. And there was just something special about waiting for an important call, telling everyone not to use the phone because you're waiting for a call. And you had to just wait to hear that phone ring. And that could be for a potential job offer, a call from a friend, news from a relative. The phone played a central role in staying connected. And we had busy signals. There was no call waiting or call forwarding, or at least they weren't very prevalent in the 1980s. So if someone was on the phone, others had to wait or try calling back later. Since there were fewer communication options, phone calls held a special significance. Receiving a call often meant that someone took the time to reach out and have a real-time conversation, which fostered a sense of connection. Today, the experience of receiving a phone call has changed dramatically. With the prevalence of smartphones, communication has become more instant, accessible, and personalized. Caller ID, voicemail, and a variety of messaging options have transformed the nature of communication, which makes it more convenient, but perhaps less suspenseful and communal than the days of waiting for a ring on the landline. It was inferior technology, but it was so much better.
I'm glad you called, but I'm not home. But I'll be back before too long.
Crazy Calls, a tape of 7 different songs and funny recordings for only $14.95.
Wait for the beat. You gotta leave your name. You gotta leave your number.
To order,
wait for the beat.
Call 1-800-351-5200.
Back when I get home.
WCAU-FM 98, first with Philly's Hot Hits. WCAU-FM 98 plays more of your favorite hot music. WCAU-FM 98 with consistently more hot hits. WCAU FM 98.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Finally, let's talk about how we curated our musical masterpieces, recording off the radio, precision timing, mixtapes, and the occasional DJ interruption. It was an art form. Today, with just a click, you have access to millions of songs, but back then, each recording was a labor of love and meant so much more once you finally got it. And yeah, they had warnings about piracy even back then. In the era before digital music streaming and downloadable MP3s, people often relied on radio broadcasts to discover and enjoy new music. Sitting by the radio to record songs onto cassette tapes was a common practice, especially during the 1980s but also earlier. And in case you forgot how this process worked, you had your cassette tapes. Cassette tapes were the medium of choice for recording music from the radio. These tapes were portable, affordable, and widely used for both recording and playback. And you had to have a tape deck that also received a radio signal. Although many households had a tape deck and radios as separate components, they were sometimes integrated into a single unit, and this was the best way to get a better recorded sound. Then you had to find the right radio station, and this was crucial, especially if you were trying to capture a specific song or genre.
KIOK, Richland, Pasco, Kennewick, just a shade ahead of 10 o'clock.
There were often dedicated radio shows that played the latest hits, and listeners would tune in at specific times to catch their favorite song. And of course, you had to have precision timing. You had to be ready to press the record button on the tape deck just as the DJ finished speaking. And sometimes the DJs would leak into the song. It required a bit of skill and timing to avoid missing the beginning of the song. Another benefit of this was creating mixtapes. In addition to recording individual songs, people often created mixtapes by recording a series of songs in a particular order. This allowed them to curate their personalized playlists, combining favorite tracks or creating thematic collections, and also to give that special someone.
I'm just doing this for my health.
Kevin, don't! Film her! Film her!
Sonia, if you ever watch this tape, you can just kind of cough, you know.
So, is that taking?
It sure is. Sonia.
Making a playlist these days is just too easy, but giving that special someone a tape that you spent hours making was very special. It was also a very social experience. Recorded tapes became a popular way to share music with friends, and people would often exchange tapes introducing each other to new artists and songs. Again, there were challenges and imperfections, such as external factors like the poor reception or interference could affect the recording quality. And like I said, if the DJ talked over the intro or outro of a song, that too would be captured on the recording. Again, technology has evolved, and today's music consumption is predominantly digital. The experience of meticulously crafting mixtapes and capturing songs from the airwaves remains a cherished memory for me and those who grew up in that pre-digital era. So there you have it. Join us next time for more nostalgia and maybe a few questionable fashion choices. Until then, stay gnarly, my friends.
The power of music. No one lets you experience it.